All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Benjamin E. Mays High School's Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed. I would like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. For members of the Go Team, please identify yourself when you speak. I am pleased to call this meeting of the Benjamin E. Mays High School's Go Team to order at 5:08. Our first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll.
Please respond present when your name is called. Principal Garner.
Present.
Aquandra Morris.
Present.
Okay. Kaya Cody. Siobhan Brown.
Present.
Present.
Sonia Lewis. Jasmine Smith.
Present.
Rejoice Jones. Tamar Eccles. Myself, Kimberly Jenkins, present.
I'm here, Miss Lewis. I'm sorry, late.
All right, this team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. Ms. Jenkins, is there a quorum present?
Yes, there is a quorum present.
All right, our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you. Are there any changes to the agenda? All right, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
May I have a
Aquandra Morris,
second?
I second it. Aquandra Morris.
All in favor, please say aye so the secretary can record your vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Who was the second person?
Kaya Boss.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions, please say abstain. All right, thank you. We will review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you through email. Are there any corrections? All right, if there are no further corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
I make the motion to approve the previous minutes, meeting minutes. Sonia Lewis.
I,
Thank you.
Kaya Boss, make a motion to approve.
Was that my second? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions, please say abstain. All right, we have one more action item, but we will discuss this after the map data spring 2023 to fall 2023. All right, so we will now move to the discussion items on our agenda, which are the continuous improvement plan presentation and map data from our principal, Mr. Ramon Garner.
All right, good evening, everybody, and thank you for being here at our Go Team meeting this evening. I want to talk to you a little bit about what was on the agenda, our strategic plan, and how that aligns with our continuous improvement plan. So at a high level, the strategic plan is a plan over years. Our continuous improvement plan is our plan for this specific year and what we're going to do. So each year, the improvements that we make, if we're doing them right, should hit the goals in our overall strategic plan, which is over years. Next slide. So here's where we are right now. We're in between September in December of this year. We're utilizing our current data with the Go team to review and possibly update the school's strategic priorities and plan. Next. So our discussion items, again, we want to talk about the current strategic plan, overall continuous improvement plan this year, our needs assessment, SMART goals and action plan, our strategic alignment, an update, and then our map data, which we looked at last time, but we'll discuss it in more detail today. All right, current strategic plan. All right, so we've seen this before, right? It lives on our website for anybody who needs to see it, has our mission and our vision in it. But what I want you to really pay attention to is those 4 boxes underneath SMART goals, which says the percentage of students who graduate in 4 years will increase from 88.8, which I just updated. 88.8 graduation rate, y'all. That's good now. That's amazing. Something to be celebrated and something that I believe we should be proud about. So we want to increase that from 88.8 to 91% for this school year. That is an update that I did based off of the current graduation rate that was just released a few weeks back. We want to, under literacy, we want to increase the percent of students scoring developing plus, meaning developing, proficient, or distinguished on the end of course assessments by 5% by the end of this year. That's also an update because it did reference to MAP scores in the past. But as you can see, what we've put in our continuous improvement plan is centered around our EOC, our 4 EOC courses. Same thing in numeracy. We want to increase the percentage of kids scoring and developing proficient and distinguished by 5%. And then also for attendance, we want to increase the attendance percentage rate by 3% from 80 to 83%. And then as you dig deeper, you see what makes up the strategic plan. It says fostering academic excellence for all, building a culture of student support, equipping and empowering leaders and staff, and then creating a system of school support. From there, for each one of those areas, it talks about our strategic priorities. So for an example, under fostering academic excellence for all, number 1, we have grad rate. Second thing is increase the percentage of students showing proficiency and milestone scores. So if you look up, what's the first 2 things you see in those boxes? Grad rate at the top, and I don't know if you can see my cursor. Literacy, you see it's talking about the milestone score. So everything is in alignment. We want to strengthen the implementation of International Baccalaureate. So those are the 3 priorities under academic excellence. Under building culture, we want to implement a whole child system of support that integrates social emotional learning, behavior, wellness, and comprehensive academic intervention plans. And then we want to use flexible learning tools. Also, under equipping and empowering leaders, we want to retain and continue to develop a high-performing faculty, which to me is everything. We cannot do this work without our teachers. Cannot do it. And not only we need the best of the best teachers, and we need to develop them. And then we want to build our teacher capacity and increase in mastery for students. And then finally, provide wraparound services to address academic and emotional barriers that students may encounter. And I won't read all of the strategic priorities, but it goes from a big box, academic excellence, to our strategic priorities. And then that strategic strategy, our school strategies, is what specifically are we going to do to make sure we increase the grad rate and increase the percentage of students showing proficiency and so on and so forth. Does everybody understand that? Are there any questions about what I'm saying? If I'm going too fast, you can definitely stop me and ask me anything you would like. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so that was our overall plan. Now we're going to narrow it down and talk specifically about our continuous improvement plan. Next slide. And so this is the plan for this specific year. You see our strengths. Our strengths are, we had the percentage of students scoring developing plus on algebra, on the algebra EOC, increased from 33%, 33.6 to 36.4. That's a 2.8 percentage point. And the percentage of proficient students who hit proficiency increased from 4 to 11%. That's an increase of 7 percentage points. That's a good increase, right? Now, overall, when you look at it, and it's still only 11% or 12% of our students who are proficient, meaning they're at least at grade level on algebra, right? Which means that there is roughly 89, 88% of students who are not. So still a lot of work to be done, but you have to start somewhere. So a 7 percentage point increase is a good start. In social studies, the percentage of developing plus learners on the U.S. history increased from 38 to 48. It's 10 percentage points. That's big. And the percentage of proficient learners went from 6.9 to 12.2, which is a 7.9 percentage point gain as well. Still, 12%, a little bit over 12% of our kids are proficient, right? Which means roughly, 88, 87% are not. And then science, percentage of students scoring developing plus in biology increased from 37 to 39. We had a 2% in proficiency for biology as well. Some of the opportunities and challenges, behavioral, right? The overall suspension rate increased from 2.6 to 3.81 that was last year, and the number of incidents both increased from 986 to 1346. The attendance, CCRPI attendance decreased from 41.1 to 39.9, right? And so what that means is the percentage of students who miss less than 10% of the school year, right? So we had, over 60% of our students to miss more than 10% of the school year, which is not good. And then ELA student achievement actually dropped last year in American literature. Although I haven't gotten to this point, I'm really excited about the teacher talent we have in American literature, and I'm looking for those scores to really increase. All right. The rest of this is talking about, so it goes from strengths to our overarching needs to like a problem statement. So if you see on my far left side under literacy, the problem statement is that only 12% of our students are proficient in literacy, right? Which we just said. Numeracy, only 12%. And then whole child, 60% of our students missed, more than 10 days. All right, so those are the things that we are solving for. Next slide. All right, under content mastery, all right, it says that Mays needs to increase student proficiency and growth in all core subject areas. And for college and career readiness, we need to obtain IB-MYP middle years program and diploma program authorization. And so our SMART goals around that are goals specifically to address those things. We want the percentage of students who miss, 10 days or more to decrease by 5%, right? We want the total number of suspensions to decrease by 15%, all right? We want to have IB middle years program and diploma authorization by the end of this year. And we want, now that rate is higher, 85% of our graduating students will have applied, to at least 3 colleges. And we have the systems in place to make that happen based on, the supports and resources our district has given us with our graduation, not only our graduation coaches, but our college advisors. All right. And then progress monitoring, we're going to watch our monthly suspension rates, attendance rates, and the completion of IB course overviews and unit plans. Next slide. All right, more. Overarching needs, we need to increase the CCRP attendance rate. We also need to increase our graduation rate for our Latino, Hispanic males, and our students with disabilities. And again, here are our SMART goals, which by now you've heard them over and over again. We want 14.7% to score proficient in American Lit, so on and so forth. How will we monitor this along the way? We're going to look at our MAP growth, which is our universal screener. Take MAP 3 times a year. We've taken it once this year. We take it again in December, if I'm not mistaken, and then again in the spring. All right. And what we want to do is see growth as a result of that assessment. Not only that, we look at our common assessment data as we go, our formative assessment data from our teachers, and then our summative assessments. All right. Next slide. All right. So here is everything that I have to put in our plan and submit to our district. And again, it shows what our goals are, which we just went over, but it also shows action steps. And here's what I want you to hold me and the school accountable for, are the things that we put in these plans and we say we're going to do. And hopefully when our teachers hear these things and see them, they can nod their heads and say, yeah, we are doing that. Or if we're not, then we need to tighten up in these areas. So, we said monitor the consistent use of our instructional framework through coaching and feedback cycles. So people responsible for that is my admin team and our instructional coaches. Lesson plan feedback, classroom observations been, held by our APs and our instructional coaches. And from that, we should see students increasing in their MAP and their other assessments. Action step number 2, we want to monitor the effectiveness of our weekly PLCs for collaborative planning, DDI, and analyzing student work. So are we having PLCs every week? Are we having data-driven instruction conversations where we're bringing data in and we're looking at how our students are performing? All right, we want to implement classroom strategies aligned to personalized learning, core elements of targeted instruction and student reflection and ownership, which we are getting more in a heavier cadence of students owning and knowing where they stand after teachers give them assessments. How did you score? Students need to know that information and own it. All right. At the bottom, we want to monitor the implementation of co-teaching for students, for classes that have, students with disabilities. And then we want to monitor the implementation of MTSS, which we have Ms. Evans, our MTSS specialist, who that is her job all day. All right. Next slide. All right. Here's what we're doing around graduation rate. Okay. Action step. We want to monitor the attendance, behavior, grades, and credit recovery of seniors who are not on track for graduation in order to provide additional support and services needed to get them on track. Additionally, after-school recovery program for students not on track to graduate. So that actually starts next week. Our night school, credit recovery. We've also spent a lot of time making sure that our students' schedules are right. We've brought in district support to do transcript audits for every single junior and every single senior in the building. So we know, what their plan of action needs to be, and they know as well, which is really important. And then we want to check with our students with disabilities and Latino Hispanic population students who are not on track for graduation as well. And we track a lot of that through our counselors and our ESOL staff. Next slide. Here's what we're doing for Whole Child, right? Mr. Rivers leads this team. It is identify most at-promise students through attendance, discipline, and academic data. There's a meeting every single Thursday, and it's not perfect, but we have identified our most at-risk students. And they are on caseloads. And what we do is we bring that information back to that Whole Child team, and we talk about, what supports are in place, what supports may need to be in place. But we also want to look at those students' grades and attendance along the way to make sure that there is improvement as a result of that one-on-one caseload management. We also implement something called no nonsense nurturer for a classroom behavior, a classroom management strategy for our teachers who need it. And we've centered that around precise directions and positive narration for this first semester. All right, next slide. All right, and here's what we are doing for college and career readiness. So hopefully I'm painting a picture for you of the systems and structures in every area of our goals. And you can see kind of in detail what we're doing and how we plan on doing what we're doing. So the first thing is monitoring the implementation of IB PLC. So we added an International Baccalaureate Assistant Principal this year who works with Ms. Jasmine Smith and Mr. Akil Mason, who are our IB coordinators. Ms. Smith is our MYP, Middle Years Program Coordinator. Mr. Mason is our Diploma Program and Career Program Coordinator. We're already authorized in CP, which is Career Program. We're working on being authorized for MYP and DP. So we've put in our systems every other Friday our IB PLCs, which I think are really beneficial because it's given us an opportunity to focus just on that and give our teachers an opportunity to get the support that they need. We also are monitoring the implementation of the International Baccalaureate approaches to learning skills and learner profiles, and monitoring the implementation of senior sponsors, who is what I was talking about, those college advisors, whose sole purpose, I love this about our district, those two young people's sole purpose is to make sure that every single senior does their FAFSA, that they apply to at least 3 colleges. I think that's awesome investment by our district. Next slide. And if you want to build it out even more, here is our short-term action plan. So strategic plan over the course of 3 to 5 years. Our continuous improvement plan is our plan for this year. Our short-term action plan is what we're doing first semester. And that's built out here in this plan, which I won't read all of this to you, but it is available to you. And again, it is the same thing that I just talked about, but it's broken down even more, right? So one example, monitor the implementation of weekly collaborative planning meetings. So we talked about having PLCs. Well, now we're talking about how we're going to monitor those each week, right? Who's responsible for doing that? And you can see as you go across our instructional coaches, math coach, ELA coach, science coach, social studies coach are responsible for monitoring the implementation of our PLCs, making sure that what we're doing during those PLCs is lesson planning, focusing on lesson plan internalization, right? So if I build Monday's plan, I bring it to the team, then we internalize what I wrote for Monday for our team. We teach the same content, right? And we discuss it. And then, when we give assessments, it's going back and looking at the assessment data and making adjustments or creating reteach plans based off, how students are performing. Did we teach it well or did we not? Analyzing that based off of the student data and then going back and reteaching. All right. So that's what this plan is. It's our continuous improvement plan broken down by first semester. We'll have another one of these for second semester. All right. Next slide. And this is just more of our short-term action plan. 45 days. Here it is around graduation rate. So again, it's more granular. Begin regular check-ins. Who's responsible for doing these check-ins? Our graduation coaches. How do we monitor this? Through our assistant principal, who is over seniors and making sure that they are on track And that is a continuous process, because if you don't have those systems in place and then you just kind of say that you're doing it, then at the end, you won't be exactly where you need to be. There shouldn't be any surprise. But this is the work. This is the day-to-day grind. This is what the educators are doing here every day. All right. So it's all written out, which is my job, is to give that vision and be really crystal clear on what the roles are and how we monitor what we said we were going to do. Next slide. And again, this is it for our whole child and intervention goals. All right. Go team activity and discussion. What we are to do here, and I took the liberty to make adjustments based off of the data that I was getting in. So remember, I told you in the beginning, our graduation rate goals changed because of our new grad rate. So when our grad rate goes up, our goal has to go up as well. Same thing for really setting our goals around, not MAP, but setting our goals around our EOC courses. So that was a change that I made within the strategic plan as well. So for us right now, we should be having a discussion. We want to review the priorities and goals in the strategic plan and the information and goals in the continuous improvement plan. Reflect on if updates need to be made to the strategic plan, which I kind of did some of those already. And it says, are all continuous improvement plan goals reflected in our strategic plan priorities? Would you guys say that they are, or do you think we need to make any changes? Anyone? Let me call somebody. I'm looking at Ms. Brown. Give me some feedback, Ms. Brown.
I was just simply stating that it looks like everything is already aligned. And I like the way that is being planned out and monitored. And I like the fact that you chunked it for everyone to see and follow. So we can follow the progress. We can make the changes that need to be changed, monitor the data. I think it's well done and in line, in good time. Good goals.
We just got to do the work, right? We got to make sure we hit them. Any other feedback? Ms. Smith, give me some feedback, please.
I was just looking to make sure that you said that the graduation rate went from 88.8 to 91%.
No, ma'am, it went from 80, I think it was 84 before,
Oh,
to 88.8.
okay.
So based off of the 88.8, we have to set a new goal, because our grad rate goal for this year, based on what we had before, was 87, but we
Gotcha.
already passed that, right? So now we got to get over 90. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Got it. But other than that, yes, I agree with Ms. Brown. We did look to make sure it does correlate, and each thing that is in the strategic plan has been addressed in the SIP.
Any other comments, feedback?
And we will be authorized.
I know. I know that's your work, and that's the thing. Like you have a clear lane, a clear mission of work to do that you are responsible for, and you guys are making progress. I have no doubts that we will be authorized. If there's not any other feedback, I'm ready to move on, but I don't want to do that without giving any individual an opportunity to ask any questions or dig a little deeper if we need to. All right, I'm gonna take the silence as we can move on. Next slide.
I do have one quick question.
Yes.
So you said that we were going to focus in on our Latinx population, Hispanic population. And you said males. Is that separate, or you just saying in general? males.
Yeah, males in general, because they were performing a little bit less lower than our Latino, Latinx females. Is that an appropriate term to use? I want to use. I'm not sure. Okay, Latinx is okay.
What? Latino is appropriate.
Latino.
Yes, Latino.
Latino, yes, ma'am. Thank you for correcting me.
It's with the X.
Mhm.
Okay. But our males were
If you add the X. Oh, okay. We can move on, but yeah, add the X. And that makes it appropriate because Latino is male, Latina, female, the X.
makes it I can't think of it. Yeah, I got you. Unisex.
I think I might wanna like Google that because my understanding was about it being encompassing of different types of Latino populations.
Got it.
Now you have Hispanic, yeah.
Got it. I got it. I will make sure that I'm correct before I say use that term. So what I'll say is just our Latino male students were scoring at a lower rate. So there needs to be some emphasis on them. I mean, I think some of the things that we were doing around just Hispanic Heritage Month, right? Really taking the time to celebrate our Latino students, to make them feel welcome, to make them feel seen, like we see you, we love you too, we want you here. I think helps to build school pride and community, which in turn, what I hope helps them to try, a little bit harder and we make sure that we are giving them the supports that they need. All right, so up here it says updates to the strategic plan, which I made already. And I guess they wanted us to type in on this slide. Not sure, it's a PowerPoint, so we won't be able to type, but I know Ms. Kirkpatrick is taking some notes for us, and also Ms. Jenkins. So we've, again, already updated the plan, but if there's anything else we needed to do, we can do it at this time. No? Okay, keep going. Next slide, please. All right, so here's our map data. I think they wanted to compare, but we haven't taken the next portion. This meeting could have happened between now and December, so we'll show the next iteration of map after we take it. But you can see kind of where we were after the first, after we administered map the first time. You can see where our growth is for all students. Not the best in the world. What we definitely want to do is see an increase in this. I think the circumstances for how we took MAP the first time too were not ideal because, we had not gotten our devices yet. And I had to make a decision that, I wouldn't make again to say, well, we're going to, just take the MAP assessment while students are in their math and ELA courses, because you only take it in math and ELA. And what happened was, students needed more time that was allotted in those classes. So they had to keep trying to come back and retake it. Now that we have all of our devices, we will, we'll shut school down and we will test for an extended amount of time to make sure our students have ample time to do the best they can do on that assessment. So with that, and with our teachers teaching with urgency every day, is what I'm banking on to see growth in that area, in those areas. Next slide. It's the same thing for math. Next slide. All right. Maybe we need to go back, but this was a discussion again around MAP. What were some of your wonderings? Do you have any additional questions about the universal screen of the MAP assessment? No? Again, we give the next one. So what I want to be able to do and what we will do is spend a lot of time looking at, all right, here's what we gave it the first time. Here's at the second time. Now the situations were better. What's the difference? Do we see any difference? Do we see growth? What's working and what's not, right? And education is all about pivoting and making adjustments. So sometimes we have to go in and say, this isn't working, right? So what can we do to change it? Or this is working, how can we amp it up? It's a constant, test, revision, test, revise, back and forth to do what's best for kids. Next slide. All right, and here's a quote. It just says, strategic planning will help you fully uncover your available options, set priorities for them, and define the methods to achieve them. And that's really what we've done. When we talk about IB assistant principal, IB coordinators, IB trainings on the calendar, IB PLCs twice a month, right? That's strategy. And if we have strategy in place, right, we should see dividends. PLCs, put your best teachers in American literature, right? Strategy. Looking at data through PLCs, building high quality assessments. For me, hiring qualified teachers, putting them in their strengths, making sure they have their reach, all of that strategy, right? And what we want to have at the end of that is student achievement, quality education for our kids. Next slide. All right, our next meeting, we will discuss how our data is aligning to our strategic plan and determine if we need to make adjustments, which we just said. Before the end of fall semester, we will take action, vote on ranking our strategic priorities for the next year, which is where we should be. We should be planning for next year right now. And then let me or the chair know if any additional information you need for future discussion. All right. So I turn it back over. Do I turn it back over to you now, Ms. Smith?
Kind of, but not really. We're moving on to the information item, which is the principal's report.
All right, let's do it. Do we have any more other slides? If not, I have the information right here. Okay. For this term, man, we've been really busy, really busy with a lot of positive things. I know I'll probably leave some things out, but some things I definitely want to highlight are, our college tours that we've been able to take from Councilwoman Boone and former Mayor Shirley Franklin, which have been absolutely amazing. But not only those college tours, our partnership with Google and Big Brothers Big Sisters, where our students have been able to go out once a month and meet with their mentors. That's been really big. Google is still in the process of completing the Google Hub. We're looking to have our Google launch coming up soon. In the world of IB, we had our first IB parent night, y'all. It was a success. Teachers and families had the opportunity to not only celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month and taste some authentic Hispanic cuisine, but we also got to like be hands-on with games, hands-on with fun things around IB that our teachers were able to display for our parents. We've had a couple PTA meetings, which I'm still not super happy with the turnout. I just envision a room full of parents, and I won't stop dreaming. I won't stop dreaming until we get that. We had grandparents breakfast, where I think we had over 200 grandparents to show up to Mays High School and celebrate. Our sports teams have been performing well. We just had homecoming this past week. Homecoming week was a big success. Homecoming game was good. We had a couple of things happen that we did not like, that I don't like, that have been addressed, and that we won't tolerate. This week, in itself, we have tomorrow, no, this weekend, we have our fall festival. This Thursday, we will have Chief Applin here. Please be here Thursday at 6 p.m. Chief Applin will be here to discuss security in the Mays cluster. We have tomorrow, No Place for Hate. 11 Live News will be here to capture some footage of that. Our very own Miss Jenkins is a semifinalist for Teacher of the Year in the district. Are you kidding me? She's our teacher. She's teaching American literature here at Mays High School. That's why I'm so confident those scores are going to go up. Now, just imagine now, she ends up being the Teacher of the Year for the district. No pressure, Miss Jenkins. Congratulations to you. You are deserving. And I know I missed so many things. Like I'm still adjusting to, and I'm like, wow. Like, people don't know, all of the great things that's happening here at Mays. And sometimes, some of the negative stuff gets the publicity, but I want to make sure that we are strategic in our messaging to our community of what's happening in our school. I just had a meeting yesterday with Atlanta Metropolitan about dual enrollment for our students and how to make that more accessible. So I'm really excited about some of the possibilities for that coming up in the next year as well. And some big announcements about college to come next year in 2024 around college access for our students moving forward. So good things happening. And I guess announcements again, just be here. 2 events I want you to remember. Thursday, 6 o'clock for our district cluster security meeting. Please come out, and I will send some communication out for that. And then also Saturday, our fall festival. We will have a haunted house. It will be fun for the communities from 12 to 3 here at Mays High School. We invite all of our feeder schools to come out. We want you here. Like our school, we want you here. Please come out, celebrate with us, have a good time. And it's over at 3 o'clock, so you still get to go out and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. But if you can, please be here. Bring the kids out. Let's have some fun on Saturday. That's all I have.
Okay. The cluster advisory team report, was that just about Thursday?
Sorry. Yes. So we haven't had our second cluster advisory meeting. That's Thursday as well, before the Chief Applin's meeting. So I'll have an update for you at our next Go Team, because that meeting again will be on Thursday.
Okay, got it.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Okay. All right. Any more announcements? All right, well, we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? All right, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I
make-
move we adjourn.
It was
Quandra.
an amazing meeting. And I think that what you guys are doing is amazing. And I do want to send my kudos out to you guys about what you're doing and how you're doing it. I thought it was a productive meeting, and I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you, Ms. Boss. We appreciate that.
All right, so who gave me a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Quandra Morris.
Okay. And can I have a
second it.
second? Thank you, Ms. Lewis. All right, all in favor, please raise your hand. All right. Well, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you. Have a
so
great
much.
day. Okay.
You
All right.
too.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.